Robin Sterling here. Thanks for coming to check out another episode. What's that all about? Today, the title of it may put you off a little bit, but please rest assured, it's only because I have been watching a ton of murder TV stuff. So I just decided to look into a little bit about murder for hire because it apparently is quite the popular choice for getting rid of people. And it didn't start back in like the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, it's up till today. People are doing some stupid shit, getting caught, but trying some stupid shit to eliminate people. It's very ridiculous. It's guys, come on. I mean, what's the upside of murder for hire, really? Come on. Other than, you know, maybe you get like a clean alibi. You can be somewhere else when somebody else is doing the deed for you. But I really think it just delays, in my opinion anyway, I think it just delays inevitable justice. But that's just, I mean, whatever. Somebody said in one of the shows that the people who end up hiring people to commit these crimes, hitmen and whatnot, are normally people that you would never suspect of doing something so vile, and B, they usually don't have records. So I found that pretty interesting. They don't have any criminal records of their own. In other words, they don't have any experience firsthand of essentially being a criminal. So the lack of experience is probably why most of them end up, failing. And if they don't fail, they at least get caught, and there is justice. Usually. Now, the most common reasons for wanting to kill someone, as you might wonder about, but you probably know once I tell you, you're going to be like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. Money, lust, love, jealousy, those kind of all actually, and then power and control, divorce, custody battles, a lot of that, they kind of all, forgive the way of saying it, but they all kind of marry each other a little bit, right? One can sort of go around the other. But you name it, in anything really, there's motives all over the place. Like I read somewhere that there was a property line dispute that ended up with a murder for hire. I mean, come on, use your words, people. But I don't understand. I think the world is just so full of anger right now, and so full of, I think it's been brewing for a long time, and now it's just bubbling up and over, and everything's getting really messy out there. We just need to be, cooler heads need to prevail. But anyway, but I would like to disclose that I am a person that if I ever knew of anything, if I ever heard or sniffed out something that wasn't right or kosher, I would definitely go to the cops. So keep that in mind. You can't trust me when it comes to murder for hire. All right? So don't even try it. Now, as simple and clean as it might seem to hire someone else to do the dirty work for you, there are humongous drawbacks to it. Now, first of all, which you might be like, duh, you're including somebody else in your plan that you don't really trust. Be honest. This person's probably already a criminal by nature, so why would And the most fantastical hire plots are built on circumstances so outrageous that you'd think they were built for Hollywood, written for Hollywood, or are just a complete farce in works of fiction. But honestly, Dateline couldn't build these any better. They make for great shows, and they're all true. Now, in almost every case, the perpetrators are caught. In almost every case. And usually the people who are caught are very eager to discuss, maybe, what do they call it? Turning state's evidence, just to, decrease a sentence or something, and they go against the person that hired them. Just think that through if you're ever considering it. Divorce court's probably a hell of a lot better way to go. But anyway, I have a couple of examples. I picked two very different cases because I really just wanted to show you the real extremes of each. And It's just so sad because they're both true, and it bums me out. But anyway, we're gonna go back a little ways. This one's to 1988. And the man's name was Robert Samuels. He was a camera assistant who worked on several Hollywood productions. He lived in Northbridge, California with his wife, Mary Ellen. And she had had a daughter from a previous marriage, and her name was Nicole. And they all lived together, and everything seemed great, as they always do. I can almost hear Keith Morrison's voice from Dateline saying, but that's the way they always start. On December 8th, poor Robert was murdered in his home by a shotgun blast to the head. Okay? Now, Robert had just asked Mary Ellen for guess what? A divorce. Oh, there's the motive. Oh, but there's more. So suspicion fell on her immediately. And she also inherited, ding, 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 $500,000 due to Robert's death. And the fact that they couldn't make a case against it because she had a clean, quote unquote, alibi. So after Robert's death, okay, they were struggling to link her. They knew and they saw her with this money, and it was killing people because they knew. His family knew that she had something to do with it, but no direct ties, as I said. Now, 7 months later, in a bizarre twist, a 27-year-old man named James Bernstein was found beaten and strangled to death in an isolated canyon. You might ask yourself, why do we care about this guy? Well, as it turns out, Bernstein was engaged to Mary Ellen's daughter, Nicole. Ding, ding, oh my God, ding. And the investigation soon uncovered that Mary Ellen had hired Bernstein to murder her husband, but then became paranoid. Apparently that happens a lot. Two people who have no experience with crime or guilty, consciences, having something picking something this massive to start with, really, it's with your head. So she was paranoid, and then she went ahead, you will love this, she went ahead and hired 2 more hitmen to take him out. Yup, that's the way that cookie crumbled out. Now, as I mentioned earlier, to reduce their sentence, they turned states. They agreed to testify against Mary Ellen, and that bitch got caught. Now, after her arrest, she would be dubbed the Green Widow. Since it took her just over a year. Now, okay, it took her just over a year to go through the entire $500,000 inheritance. Think about that amount of money. I mean, but yeah. Now, one of the most damning pieces of evidence against her was a picture her new lover took of her while they were on vacation in Cancun. She's lying in a bed with $20,000 worth of cash on top of her. Ew. Well, you check it out. You see it. Anyway, she was lying nude in it. Gross. In 1994, she was found guilty and 2 counts of first-degree murder and received a death sentence. Yet, she still sits there today. Yes, she still gets 3 square meals a day. And then maybe pick anybody, right? A poor man who had to lose his job due to an illness, or a family member had an illness and they financially got strapped for cash and become homeless and can't even feed themselves in a day. Yet this bitch, who had her husband and her daughter's almost fiance, or her almost son-in-law killed, gets to have 3 square meals a day, exercise every day, socialize with other prisoners, probably gets, conjugal visits from whoever, because those freaky people who like to get involved with people who've killed other people. I mean, what kind of justice is that? I'm sorry, eye for an eye. I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to get political. But anyway, there's another tale of murder that is probably going to blow your mind a little bit because it's so ridiculous. Okay. Here we have Shanna Holloway, 14. Now, young teenager, she was disappointed on one particular day when she came home to tell her mom that she hadn't made the cheerleading squad, that she had lost the spot to another young girl named Amber Heath. Lovely young girl, just outdid her, outshined her, whatever. Okay, it should have ended right there. Mom should have said, "Oh, have a cookie. Yeah, we'll get him next time." Oh, no, 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 no. And you may have heard of this case because it turned into a TV movie, and Holly Hunter, as I think I'm showing you somewhere, played this woman. Okay, Wanda, I'm hopping ahead, but Wanda is Shanna's mother. Okay, now she was devastated by the news of her daughter not getting on the cheerleading squad. And the reason is because she was raised strict Baptist and was never allowed to do anything like this. And she wanted to live vicariously through her daughter. Okay. Shanna wasn't even upset. She didn't even really want to be a cheerleader, which I find so funny about the story. But anyway, all right. Now, her mother, Wanda, Shanna's mother, she wanted this so badly for her daughter that she was willing to have someone killed. Well, you could have blown me over with a freaking feather. I'm thinking she's going to want to murder Amber. Poor little, poor girl. It's not her fault she was extra cheery or something, or could, finish a split or something. Ow. But Wanda would approach her brother in law, or ex brother in law, rather. She was divorced, but he was an ex brother in law of her named Terry Hatcher. No, I'm sorry, Terry Harper. Wrong. Terry Harper. Terry Harper. And asked him to find her a hitman. Now, Wanda, in her mind, in her sick and twisted mind, wanted Amber's mother to be killed because she thought if she had Amber's mother killed, she'd be too distraught to be on the cheerleading squad. Therefore, Shanna would get her place. Oh my God. Anyway, Terry, it didn't sit well with him. Now, he falls into that category of the whistleblower. Okay? He was so disturbed by what Wanda was asking him to do, and he went to the police. They wired him up. Oh, yeah, they wanted to get their own proof. So they wired him up. And then on January 30th, 1991, the day after Wanda was recorded providing Terry with a down payment for a hitman, a fictional one, thank God, she was arrested and charged with solicitation to commit capital murder. Well, that's not the end of Wanda's story. Wanda was initially convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Seems appropriate, even though no one died, thank goodness. But the verdict was overturned. Yeah, it was overturned. Then her second trial, Wanda pleaded no contest, cutting down her sentence. She was released after 6 months of a 10-year sentence and served the rest of her sentence on probation. See what I mean by extremely different endings for these stories? I mean, even though no one died during the second story, the intent was there. I cannot even believe, this is what's wrong with our justice system. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but I am a big believer in swift justice. And I don't mean swift as in 25 years sitting on death row and being cared for and provided for, when people out there who are so worthy and would be so grateful for anything that could be provided, the help, whatever. I mean, I think there's some people that commit crimes just to go to jail and eat. I've been told that. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. It makes me sick. But anyway, very different stories. But I'm just telling you, either way you look at it, don't do it. Just don't do it. Not that you would ever, but until next time, I hope you are staying happy and healthy, and stay weird and take care. Bye.